It's 11:47 p.m. You're lying in bed, phone brightness turned all the way down, typing numbers into a retirement calculator you found through a Google search you didn't tell anyone you made. Current age, current savings, monthly contribution. You hit calculate. The number that comes back doesn't feel like a plan. It feels like a verdict. Here's what that calculator will never tell you. One mistake in this video costs $340,000 if nobody catches it in time. Another one is sitting unused in probably half the 401k accounts of everyone over 50 you know. And the third isn't a savings problem at all. It's an access problem. And it can strand someone with $1 million they legally can't touch for a decade. 3 ages, 3 real numbers, 3 mistakes, each one specific to an age, each one expensive enough to matter. Pick the age that's yours, but stay for the other 2, because the mistake that wrecks them is probably sitting in a plan you know right now, and you're the only one who's about to find out. Retire by 60. Most people are already on this track. They just don't know if they're winning or losing. The math. $50,000 a year in retirement, the 4% rule, means you need $1.25 million invested. $50,000 is 4% of $1.25 million. A portfolio built that way has historically survived 30 years of withdrawals, adjusted for inflation, without running dry. Starting at 30 with nothing saved, 30 years, 7% average return, $950 a month gets you there. Nobody says that number out loud. They give you the goal, never the cost of the goal. Dana is 52. She checked her 401k for the first time in 3 years last month. $310,000. She thought she was fine. She is not fine. At her current rate, she hits $680,000 by 60, less than half of what $50,000 a year actually requires. Here's the first thing almost nobody over 50 uses: catch-up contributions. After 50, the IRS lets you put an extra $7,500 a year into a 401k beyond the normal limit, and an extra $1,000 into an IRA, built specifically for people who started late. Dana's 8 years from 60. Maxing just the catch-up alone adds roughly $85,000 in contributions before a single dollar of growth is counted. She didn't know the limit existed. Neither do most people over 50. Here's the second thing, and it's worse, because it's not a limit nobody knew about. It's free money nobody claimed. If Dana's employer matches up to 5% and she's only contributing 3%, she's handing back guaranteed money, a 100% return before the market does anything at all. 11 minutes on a benefits portal fixes this. Almost nobody spends the 11 minutes. The rule for 60. The number is knowable. The 2 biggest levers sit unused for years. Nobody ever told anyone to go check. But 60 is the easy version of this problem. The version at 50 has a trap the calculator hides completely. Money that's there, but that you legally cannot touch. Retire by 50. 10 fewer years to save. 10 more years the money has to last. Both sides get harder at once. Same $50,000 a year, but money now needs to last roughly 40 years instead of 30. Most planners tighten the withdrawal rate to 3.5% because a longer retirement is more exposed to a bad early market, something called sequence of returns risk, where a crash in year 2 of retirement does more damage than the same crash in year 20. That tightening moves the target to roughly $1.43 million. Here's where a term you've probably seen online, coast fire, stops being a buzzword. It means you've saved enough, early enough, that growth alone finishes the job with 0 more contributions. $400,000 at 34, left untouched at 7%, becomes $1.43 million by 50. Marcus hit that number at 34, ran the math, realized he'd already done the hard part, took a job he liked more, and let 16 years of compounding do everything else. Same number, same age, completely different life, because he stopped guessing and started checking. Now, the trap. Hitting $1.43 million doesn't matter if it's locked in a 401k, because most retirement accounts penalize withdrawals before 59 and a half, a 10% fee on top of regular tax. You can be a millionaire on paper at 50 and still not be able to pay rent with it. 2 real fixes, and almost no generic advice covers either. The rule of 55. Leave your job in the calendar year you turn 55 or later, and you can withdraw penalty-free from that specific employer's 401k. Not an old one you rolled over, that one specifically. The second is stronger for someone actually targeting 50, a Roth conversion ladder. Convert money from a traditional IRA into a Roth, pay the tax now, wait 5 years on each converted amount, then withdraw it penalty-free. Someone planning 5 years ahead builds a rolling bridge of accessible cash years before 59 and a half, entirely legally. The rule for 50. The dollar target is half the plan. Where the money legally lives is the other half, and it's the half nobody explains. If 50 hides an access problem, 40 hides something even more expensive. Something people don't find out about until they're already retired and it's too late to fix. Retire by 40. This isn't a stretch goal, it's a different life entirely. $1.54 million at a more conservative 3.25% withdrawal rate for a genuinely long retirement. Starting from zero at 25, 15 years, 7% return, that requires saving 55 to 60% of a typical income. Most people save 10 to 15%. This isn't 3 times harder, it's a rebuilt life. Priya did it. 2 roommates for 8 years, a car she drove to 220,000 miles. No judgment either way, just math. She hit $1.5 million at 39. Here's the $340,000 mistake. Medicare doesn't start until 65. Retire at 40, and there's a 25-year gap buying insurance entirely on your own, at full price. People budget the spending money. They forget $800 to $1,200 a month per person until Medicare kicks in. Priya almost made this exact mistake, caught it in her final planning year, added $340,000 to her number specifically to cover it. Without that number, she runs out in her late 50s. 5 years before Medicare could have saved her. There's a tool for this almost nobody uses right, the health savings account. Money goes in tax-free, grows tax-free, comes out tax-free for medical costs. The only account in the entire tax code that does all 3. After 65, it even behaves like a normal retirement account for anything else. 15 years of maxing an HSA before retiring at 40 could mean $150,000 growing, earmarked for the exact gap that almost broke Priya's plan. One more lever, and it's the one nobody mentions. Health insurance subsidies are based on reported income, not net worth. Someone with $1.5 million invested, withdrawing in a way that keeps reported income modest, can qualify for real premium reductions. Same money, same insurance, a very different bill depending on how the withdrawal is structured. The rule for 40. The number people quote is just the lifestyle number. It almost never includes the healthcare gap, and it almost never mentions the tool that quietly closes it. Full circle. It's 11:47 p.m. again. Someone else is lying in bed right now, typing numbers into the same calculator, about to get a number back that feels like a verdict. It isn't one. $1.25 million by 60. With the catch-up contributions and the employer match actually claimed. $1.43 million by 50, split correctly between what's locked and what's bridged 5 years early. $1.44 million by 40, with the healthcare gap priced in before it prices you out. 3 numbers. 3 account strategies nobody hands you by default. One rule underneath all 3. It only feels impossible until somebody breaks it into a monthly figure, names the account it has to sit in, and prices in the one cost everyone else forgets. You don't need to guess anymore. Pick your age. Run your real number. Check the box you didn't know was there. Then send this to the one person you know is still guessing.